It takes faith to make your dreams come true. Life has something special right here for you. Everything has a season, a reason to grow. So don't be discouraged by your obstacles. No, never give up. You're right to be happy. Never give up. Be all you are meant to be.
We're so excited to do this program every year, and this year is an especially nice version of this class because you're doing a tribute to Maya Angelo, whom I just adore. And so glad to see all of you here in support of our students, and we're looking forward to a wonderful evening as it always is. Thank you for coming.
Welcome everyone. We're going to do some segments from Maya Angelou tonight, a tribute to Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou gave an interview once and said, you may encounter many defeats, but do not be defeated. In fact, the encountering of experience just may create the vitality and the power you need to endure. Maya Angelou's life is a testament to her vitality and to her power. When Maya was 3 years old, her parents divorced. And both parents could not find room for Maya and Bailey in their lives. So from that time, Maya Angelou and Bailey moved back and forth and back from California to Stamps, Arkansas, St. Louis. And then when Maya was 15 in San Francisco, she became a teen mom and took on the responsibilities of herself and her son. In spite of that early trauma and tribulations and trials and struggles, Maya became an actor. She became a TV producer, a composer, singer, dancer, teacher, writer. And we're going to take just some of her works tonight, some of those that highlight some of her encounters. And I do ask, I'm sure I don't need to ask you this, but if you have phones that are on, would you please see that they are turned on?
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long way from home, a long way. Arkansas. There is a deep rooting in Arkansas. Old crimes like moths pinned on poplar trees. The swollen earth is too much too red for comfort. Sunrise seems to hesitate, and in that second loses dependence and aim, and dust no more shadows than the noon. The past is brighter yet. Old hate and antebellum lace are rent, but not discarded. Today is yet to come in Arkansas. It rides in awful waves of brood.
When I was 3 and my brother Bailey was 4, we arrived in Stamps, Arkansas. We wore tags around our wrists which read Marguerite and Bailey Johnson from Long Beach, California, en route to Stamps, Arkansas, by way of Annie Henderson. My father and mother divorced and he sent us to live with his mother. Stamps, Arkansas was typified Southern life. The town was segregated into black and white sections, and on the black side of town, there was no paved roads, dilapidated school system, and bitter poverty that made children's stomach flourish with malnourishment. I couldn't tell you much about the white side of town. Blacks suffered from the KKK and fear of lynching and constant humiliation. You see, my grandmother, she was a religious woman, and she did the best she could to make sure Bailey and myself knew the necessity behavior to survive in Stamps, Arkansas. She would say, "Children, say as little as you can to them white folks, even the poor white trash. Because their insults and mean behavior, you just have to take it and there's nothing you can do about it." About 5 years later, my dad arrived in Simmons, Arkansas. He had on a 3-piece suit, a fedora hat, and speaking the King's English, no southern drawl at all. He gathered Bailey and myself in his automobile and drove up to St. Louis to stay with our mother and her boyfriend, Mr. Friedman. Several months after being with my mother, I became ill. So ill that I began to sweat so bad she asked Bailey to come change my sheets. And as he pulled back my bed sheets, he saw my blood-stained panties hit the floor. You see, I tried to hide them in the mattress. I was 8. Bailey, he was 9, but he had an old brain like my grandma would say. He looked at me and said, "Marguerite, who did this to you?" I said nothing, I just shook my head. He said, "Marguerite, was it Uncle Ned? Was it Jimmy? Who was it? He made you this for someone else." And as I saw the tears well in his eyes, I said, "It was Mr. Friedman, our mother's boyfriend."
Give the court your name.
Margaret Johnson.
How old are you? Can you identify the man who raped you? Is he in this courtroom?
Yes.
Can you point to him? Well, what was this man wearing when he raped you?
I don't know.
You mean this man raped you and you don't even know what he was wearing? Are you even sure you were raped? Well, did this man touch you before before you say he raped you? Did this man touch you prior to the occasion that you claim he raped you?
You dirty, old, nasty thing. You know what you did.
Just so y'all know, Mr. Friedman was sentenced to 1 year, 1 day in the St. Louis jail. He never saw the inside of a jail cell. His lawyer got him off that same afternoon. I remember that day vividly after police knocked on the door and my grandmother answered. He said, "Mr. Friedman's dead. He was found back behind the slaughterhouse. Looked like somebody had kicked him to death." My grandmother didn't say much. She just wiped her hands on her apron and asked the police officer, "Would you like some lemonade?" Or a beer?
Come on and let the good times roll. We gon' stay here till we soothe our soul. It can take all night long. The evening sun is hitting low. The clock on the wall says it's time to go. I got my plans, I don't know about you. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. Get in the groove and let the good times roll. We gon' stay here till we soothe our soul. It can take all night long. One more time now, everybody let the good times roll. We gon' stay here till we soothe our soul. It can take all night long. Yeah.
I didn't see all of that. Let me tell y'all the story. Won't take much time. There was this long-legged girl in San Francisco, down by the Golden Gate. She gave me all I wanted, but I just couldn't wait. So I started to picking them up, laying them down. Picking them up and laying them down. Picking them up and laying them down. Come on to the next time, baby. There's this pretty brown in Birmingham. Boy, she's little and cute. When she tried to tie me down, I had to grab my suit. And I started picking them up and laying them down. Picking them up and laying them down. Picking them up and laying them down. I'm on to the next town, baby. I met this lovely Detroit lady and thought my time had come. But just before I said I do, I said I got to run. I started picking them up and laying them down. Picking them up and laying them down. Picking them up and laying them down. Getting to the next town, baby. There ain't no words for what I feel about a prettier face. But if I stay, a prettier one might take its place. So I had to pick them up and lay them down. Picking them up and laying them down. Picking them up and laying them down. Come on to the next time.
It was the 3rd of September. That day I always remember. Yes, I will. 'Cause that was the day that my daddy died. I never got a chance to see him. Never heard nothing but bad things about him. Mama, I'm depending on you to tell me the truth. Mama just hung her head and said, Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was